considering adoption. And remember, we went to the seminar and all that kind of stuff. And in the morning, hey, this absolutely can happen, and it happens. I can't remember what percentage of the time, but mother changes her mind and has every right to change her mind.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Just fine, thank you.
The bacon alone does it.
Remember the saying, there's all sorts of women who they count on, plan for, getting all their expenses and all of the care and everything taken care of throughout. There's some that actually game the system.
Wow. Well, this particular sweet mom, it didn't appear that she was gaming the system because she went to a different agency at first. It didn't seem to help her when she switched and found this agency about 3 months ago. And
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
good morning.
Hey, you're not in uniform.
Day off.
And furthermore, she was at home staying with her parents. And then the last 3 weeks, her mama moved out and lived with her husband. So it didn't appear that there was a game in the system. Still is a little bit hard, Because Julie and David wanted to be so open about it. They even got to the point in discussions that we'd be happy to, try to arrange to get together at his birthday and at Christmas time, a couple times a year.
It's a good thing y'all are able to do it in this weekend.
I think it was really good we were there. So I thank the Lord for that. We went down. Nothing big, sometimes it's just being there. So somebody's there to support you, and so we were just hanging out with them, and we were able to help them get some pictures on the walls on their house. They just moved into this new house. So we did that one day, and then we were able to help them paint the cupboard that they wanted to put in pages. But the most important, of course, was David took me for some breakfast tacos. And then we had some wings.
Breakfast wings?
Oh no, supper wings. I haven't had good Texas wings, man, for a long time.
Oh, no, I guess not. In the land of bland.
That was so good.
The RC's Pizza over here. Have you been there? Oh, they got wings to die for. Ooh.
RC's Pizza.
We're in Porter, Kingwood. They shut down their place in Porter, came to Sawdust off of Booty Road.
Okay. Was that, it used to be Steel City Pizza?
Yeah.
I haven't been, I wasn't at Steel City either, but I
Eggs, wings. I mean, my New York and counterparts, other houses, that they go, oh my gosh, these wings are so good.
So you can get them in different flavors and different heats and all that.
I don't know how many different flavors. I always get the original hot. Just happy.
Happy, happy, happy. Oh, I saw something just last week. I didn't realize it was happening, but October 3rd is Left Behind with Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Well,
We have not seen him in a while.
if any of these movie characters are at least a bit smart, they'll look back in history, and I know times have changed a little, but some of the highest grossing movies were Christian-based, faith-based movies. For example, like the Ten Commandments, those kind of movies in the past.
I saw the trailer. It looked pretty good.
Morning.
Was there a previous Left Behind movie for Cameron or someone? Or was this the first of the Left Behind series?
I don't care.
I think it's the first of the series.
You know?
Kirk Cameron played in one, it was a firefighter, wasn't it?
Fireproof.
Fireproof, yeah. Isn't that the one I'm thinking of?
Doesn't he do a lot of the ones for that same church that they have their own production company
Yeah. There's another.
based in the Giants?
Yeah. Yeah. This is
Did you see the one that came out in May?
Yeah, right there.
Called Indescribable or Folks in the Family? You didn't have it over there. Okay. Yeah, Focus on the Family was advertising a lot about it.
Well, we got some terrible rain last night, didn't we? It was just a beautiful day. It just hammered.
Well, we needed it. We still do. That Pondo firehouse still hasn't recovered. It has those little cement blocks where it has the benches on it. It's been below the foundation of that block. It's going on just about 3 years now.
Is that a long research course?
Golden Sage was over off of Kirkendall.
Well, it said on the news last night, 58 years ago, I think it was, it rained 36 inches in one day. Yeah, one day.
That's worse than Tropical Storm Allison.
It was a low depression. 38 inches in 18 hours. 36 in one
Was it
day.
in Houston? Wow. You said it was 36 years ago?
58.
Oh, 58.
His point was that the whole video thing about animals. Animals are just things for the moment. They're in today. Everything whole life.
Does Mark Coulter have a new job?
Is it?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him. But I was talking to Will, my neighbor across the street, who's still taking lessons from him. And he asked me the other day, he says, hey, does Mark have a new job? I don't know. Why? He said because he mentioned something about he's got a 7 to 6 job now.
Take a look at his LinkedIn page.
I guess we should do that.
He may not change that, so if he's got clients out there, potential orders that are still hanging out there, you know.
Right.
That's the problem with that job. I've done some sales jobs like that. It's just really tough.
ultimately just
Making these advances for a long time.
let it out.
Until something comes through.
But,
I only
My
became,
hope.
I only started to become cash positive in the last 5 months. So I know what that is too.
That's a work in progress for me.
You're still working on the withdrawal 35 years ago?
35.
Sorry, you're not a year older than me. You know, about 3 years ago.
You don't want this loud music.
Oh, can you turn it down? Yeah.
Only if you're gonna start bust a move.
I only dance after, you know, when it's dark on the other end. Not on-
Oh, no, no, no. That's,
Well, thank you. We usually, I think we didn't do it. Just turn it down. Ask them to turn it down.
I was just about to get down, but we.
I know. It makes you want to do it today.
get down and get hung.
Oh, that was good.
Well,
That toast looked,
Toast is great, and with honey,
wow. Had all the nuts and stuff going in on there.
wheat toast.
Yeah. Wow. Of course, I left the Bible out in the car, but I am so glad that I have two gentlemen. They're so well prepared.
I got the Jewish Bible. The complete Jewish Bible and the New International Version altogether.
oh, really?
We are not endorsing, but we are impressed.
It's
It does it.
interesting.
Moshe.
Moshe, Adonai,
Moshe.
Shmuel.
Okay,
When
this-
did you learn Hebrew?
it's, second language.
It's the second language you hear is on this.
Oh, really?
I said that without, well, okay, I can crack a smile.
So are you taking some
No.
language
It
courses?
was a gift.
Like a friend of mine gave it to me. I did a reading at a wedding in May, and she did too. And I made a joke about doing the reading out of the King James versus the NIV. It was the love chapter. She brought me this. She said she had been in a Bible study. It was very interesting. It was they covered the same set of verses each week, but everybody was given a different translation, right? So you got the NIV, you got the NTSB, and then this person got the Jewish, the complete Jewish Bible, and they would go over the verses and discuss and just all the nuances of the different versions. She said it was really interesting. I don't think anybody brought out the Mormon Bible. Or the
No one has the seeing stump, sir. The seeing stump?
Oh, that's right. They couldn't read it. Stones.
One Bible translation, amplified version. I have a.
Was that big letters?
No.
Don't need your glasses.
Let's try.
That was good. Yeah,
It was
I was waiting for
it was
that.
very quick. Very quick.
I've been waiting about three
Grandma come
years
through?
to say that.
Grandma come through with that one?
You've been gone so long, I haven't been able to bring it up.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm working on trying to look as old as you, but
So this amplified version, what's that? I guess
we're
I've
here
heard of
to
that.
uplift.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Is it kind of like the message?
no, I was actually going to say it might give you 2 or 3 words to go with some, like it makes the verse longer, quite a bit longer, because usually it adds words in there to, like, a definition has maybe 2 or 3 words to give you a definition of something.
Okay.
So it may have 2 or 3 words in there to define a hard or difficult subject that's in there.
Oh.
So I have this Bible that has.
And it's in the text rather than down at the bottom of the
Yeah,
commentary.
yeah, it's in the text, exactly. So I have a Bible that has the NIV with the strip of, I think it was the,
Original Greek.
no.
Oh, okay.
I won't confess to that. It was the Tyndale translation of the, what's it called, the NT? No, anyways, a really easy reading Bible that was kind of before the time of the Message century. And then an RSV or something. So 4 translations, so you could open a page and you could see the verses kind of.
Wow.
It was really kind of cool. I still have it somewhere. But
It does have Greek in it.
He just doesn't want to show off.
No.
He's humble that way.
He is humble that way.
I got a Gretchen coffee.
What's that? God.
Isn't that what Tarzan does? He wants to show
I don't
off.
know. Or I think the ape that hung around Tarzan did that. Oh, man. You need a little laughter, sir. That's what we're here for.
I am just savoring this raisin cinnamon bagel.
Oh, it's
very good.
Oh, man. They knock it out of the park.
Are your ladies going to the ladies' event this evening?
Oh, no, we're not.
Are your ladies going to the ladies' event?
We're buried. You know.
Judith is. I've only the furniture back at 10 o'clock. And then Judith was able to, she has worked for the pavilion for their summer series or summer, opera, not the opera, but yeah, this is the opera.
Singing folk.
The outdoor concerts that they have at the pavilion?
Yeah. With the symphony, not the opera, the symphony.
Oh.
Anyway, she does work for them, and
There's a big difference on that,
yeah, there is.
One I would come to and one I wouldn't.
But her friend she works for there got us tickets. We're going to see Lyle Lovett tomorrow.
Be fun.
First row.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've never been on the first row.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, I'm jealous. I have to use a hand. He actually naturally has that.
Wow. Well, sounds to me like he's the kind of guy that would never get hurt in a concert. Watch the front row. It was like, he'll fall off the front row and all the women there will catch him. So, he'll never.
No,
never ever
that's
get
Lyle
hurt.
Love.
No.
Not the handsome man. Sorry, Lyle. It's okay. I'm in the same boat.
We'll no.
No. That's the way it was at Kenny Rogers show.
Oh, well, Kenny Rogers. Come on, really?
Is that recent?
No.
I love that guy for a commercial. No.
And everybody's disgusted with him. He's
Yeah.
like,
Really?
Oh, this fat guy? He worked for Andy.
Everybody knows
A little bit after.
15 minutes you can get your insurance. Don't you know that it's not fun playing poker with Kenny Rogers? All right, let's get on because I gotta leave at the top.
Okay.
Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk.
yes,
That
sir.
law seems to have about as much relevance as a 55-mile-per-hour speed limit. Long before Congress got into the act, God gave laws address serious social ills that still plague us today. Not goat's milk stew or speed limits. What about murder, robbery, and rape? What about justice and bribery? Who cares for the helpless? In this study, Moses conveys God's plan for a newly born nation, whose fundamental credo was, "You are to be my holy people." Holiness is never outdated.
See, that's the thing that we miss out on. What is holiness? Our founding leaders had a deep respect for God. And all the laws and everything that they put together for our country
Well, I remember when Jessica was young, when she did her
focused
going
on
away,
his laws to try to implement in society. Not only people
she was
having values, but the values that permeate society and help to manage the laws of the land. So if you had good values, in essence, the laws were kind of unnecessary, right?
Right.
It's like you don't really need a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit if everybody would drive 55. So if you're driving 55, you don't have to be looking over your shoulder for the cop coming in there because you're following the law. It's the same kind of thing. If you're not out murdering people, you don't have to worry about being prosecuted as a murderer. So if you keep the values permeate people's lives. They underpin a good society. And that's what we miss today. You know, we really, and in fact, we miss it in religion. If you ever have a chance to witness to somebody, and you have about 10 seconds to witness to somebody, 15 maybe, and you say, you know, I believe that some people think that religion is about rituals, rites, and rules. It's not. It's all about relationship. God wants a relationship. And that's the key thing, right? I mean, you know, take a look at our religions that are around us. It's all about rules, rituals, rites.
Yes.
And even our natural kind of organizations, like a naturalist so-called religion. It's about the game for them. You know, it's not really about that relationship that they're creating. They have a whole different set of very, very basic items. I have a friend who's a very nice and lovely Muslim guy who's working with me as a civil engineer. I shared with him on the train one day, and I asked him, I said, you know, it's Father's Day, and we had a great talk on Sunday about how we've got this wonderful relationship with God as our Father. That's one of the key meanings for God in the Bible. I said, do you guys have something of that nature in Islam? God and a relationship, Father, Son. Isn't that something?
That is something.
That, I mean, and he's a good dad to his kids. He really is. But when you think about that, the important, is there any wonder why fatherhood is so under attack in our culture and in our world? Drag men off the board or get them to be involved in some kind of a cause that takes them away from family or values or country. Pick a country in the world. Just pick a country and ask what are the men in that country doing. It doesn't have to be ours. It's just so. I mean, this is really kind of key that we understand. It's the value underpin the society, right? That are going to hold it up.
Wow.
You were talking way too much.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, Dave wanted to say he can't drive 55. Just saying.
He can't.
No.
Oh,
I wanted to
has
sing.
he got a Flintstone?
You wanted to sing it. I know.
Has he got a Flintstone car or something?
No.
Oh.
Sammy Hagar.
Red Rocker.
Can't drive 55.
Oh, you got one of those battery operated things that doesn't
He's
run.
lost.
He's lost. He's an older gentleman.
Wait a minute. He obviously can drive 50. Yes, I can.
With relish.
That's right.
Oh.
No. That's not allowed.
All right.
Okay.
Read.
What's the purpose of rules in society? Think of God's ways. We'll get into that. You want to read Genesis 22?
No, I want to read Exodus 20.
Okay, that's good. Well, it's the genesis of our discussion today.
Genesis,
I don't have
Exodus 20,
Exodus 20, 22.
22 through 23. Adonai said to Moshe, "Here is what you are to say to the people of Israel. You yourself have seen that I spoke with you from heaven. You are not to make with me gods, nor are you to make gods of gold for yourselves. For me, you need to make only an altar of earth. On it you will sacrifice your burnt offerings, peace offerings, sheep, goats, and cattle, in every place where I cause my name to be mentioned. I will come to you and bless you. If you do make me an altar of stone, you are not to build it with cut stones, or if you use a tool on it, you profane it. Likewise, you are not to use steps to go up to my altar, so that you won't be indecently uncovered." This is going through 23:19.
Yeah, 23:19.
That's a lot there.
Yeah.
And I suggest that we kind of. There,
Pages.
yeah. In chapter 21, there's a whole bunch of laws about what to do if you have a servant and he wants to go free, or he has a wife.
Personal injuries.
Yeah, personal injuries about people. If a man beats somebody, what are they supposed to do? If a man you are fighting hits a pregnant woman, she gives birth prematurely. Later on, if your animals, you're borrowing an animal from your neighbor, he dies, or here's one. Your bull is goring somebody else, and you know about it, and you don't do something about it, then you haven't taken precautions to protect people from the bulls. If the bull gores a male or female slave, the owner must pay 30 shekels of silver.
But if the ox was in the habit of doing this and the owner did nothing, then the owner too should be paid.
Right. So what does that say about the responsibility of the owner? It's there, right? I mean, look at our society today. It's like, oh, it's not my fault. It's your fault. I don't take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been
The
in
bus
the
never got here.
We've been in the UK for a while, and we keep saying that they take really good care of their animals. And then all of a sudden, about 9 months ago, this article came out in the paper. This woman was walking through a park in central London on her phone. Another lady had her smaller dog. She had just paid over $1,000 to bring him over from the US on a leash. This other woman's dog was not on a leash. They just walk by each other, and the larger dog grabs the younger dog by the neck, flips it, and breaks its neck, kills it. And she keeps walking on, all on the phone. I'm sorry, not enough. And that's an example in our society of not taking responsibility for our pets or our actions or
Kids.
our kids. Yeah. So I've got a note that I wrote in here as I was reading this once before. The intent is to be fair, responsible, and kind. Summarize all of these here. So, chapter 22 goes into protection of property. If a man steals an ox or a sheep, he's got to, make restitution. Let's see, the owner is to accept this, and no restitution is required if a man, has loaned a donkey to his neighbor for safekeeping, and it dies while it's with its neighbor. The neighbor doesn't have a responsibility for that, because all he's done is he's asked the neighbor to take care of it for him rather than misabuse it. And then there's a social responsibility. Do not allow sorcerers to live. If a man seduces a virgin, there's a price to pay. Do not mistreat an alien, because remember, you were aliens. I was an alien. Came down from Canada. I was an alien. And all
We
I
still,
had
We can still tell.
yeah.
Yeah, green card. I don't even wonder why people
My
think
favorite
people
Martian.
from Mars are green.
Waiting for those little antennae.
Yeah, they're coming.
There you go.
Do not mistreat an alien. And it also, Paul in the New Testament reminds us that we're strangers in this world, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just passing through. Don't take advantage of a widow or an orphan. Chapter 23, do not spread false reports or help a wicked man. Do not allow the crowd in doing wrong. Talk about social responsibility. Man, here's some great stuff in here. Don't deny justice to the poor. Do not accept a bribe. Do not oppress an alien. And then there's laws about the Sabbath. For 6 years you're to sow on the fields, but the 7th year let the land lie fallow and unused. Not only to protect them, but to allow the land to regenerate itself. So we talk. So what do you think the purposes of these laws were? To kind of put them in shackles.
No, to establish.
Healthy boundaries.
That's a great way of putting it. I love that. Did you think about that all by yourself?
You know, I have a wife.
And she gives them healthy boundaries all
That's
the
right.
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. That's good. I'm glad you got that.
My undergrad's in psychology.
Healthy boundaries. That is really good. Okay.
She calls them healthy boundaries. He calls them something different.
I'm sure he does.
This is a Christian online thing, so let's be nice.
Yeah, we're trying to keep our, what is it? Be fair, responsible, and kind.
Yes, sir.
So,
With an anger, looking like a Popeye.
so it's healthy boundaries. It's not only for our personal good, but it's also the good of others in society, right? This isn't just a one-way deal. This isn't just kind of to help the rich and the poor don't have to, abide by the same set of rules, or vice versa. It's everybody. It's values that will help not only you that are implementing the values, but the other people receiving the results of having implemented the values. So it's good for you and good for others. So kind of where I'm going with that is how is that underpinned by what Jesus taught in the New Testament?
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and love others as you love yourself.
Right. So to love your God with all your heart is back here in chapter 20 where he says, don't make
other gods,
idols
and altars.
No, idols and altars, exactly. And then all of this social responsibility, personal responsibility.
And even, if you make an altar out of stone, don't make a cut stone. What does that say? That says don't pour everything into the edifices of man's creation, right?
Yeah. Don't want anything of man's creation to come up there because some really good sculptor will make something that looks absolutely fantastic, and then you're going to get drawn into wanting to worship that. Instead, just take a rock I created, and put it together there, and thank me for having created that rock. There's a
So build the buildings. Do not worship the buildings.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's some beautiful churches and built around the world that really show God has given the craftsmen who built it and stuff.
Right.
Are they in use anymore?
Yeah.
Look at all the ones we're seeing in the UK that are thousands of years old, you know, and some of them have now been turned into a museum, or some of these churches have been turned into somebody's dwelling place or something, not being used as a church. I very often will go into a church and I'll go up to the front and I'll just say, this has been awesome in the day when people were actually worshiping with God. Bring a revival back to this country. And I really pray that every place that we step foot, that God would use us to bring a revival back to that part of the world, that part of the country, and that God would invigorate His people, cause their hearts to be turned back. So it's what did Jesus say about building in the New Testament? Remember, the disciples were walking by the temple and they said to Jesus, "Wow, you see this temple?" What does He say?
Tear it down.
I'll tear it down.
Yeah, and in 3 days I'll rebuild it. So in a sense, he was giving them a prophecy for Himself, but He was in the same breath saying to them, this stuff's going to come down, but spiritual is what's going to last forever. And sometimes we lose track of that. Anyways, so these laws were intended to improve the conditions of slaves. Why do you think slavery of any kind is permitted?
It was a different kind of slavery back then. Indentured servitude.
It's just anybody that has a credit card is a slave. That's nowadays too.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, just look at just what they're doing right here. It's just they didn't have ATMs and lines of credit, digital devices. If that was their credit card.
Right. That's a very, very good analogy.
Yeah.
Should I tell you that one?
Ooh,
That's
Ow.
really, really good.
hot jabs
That's
here.
That's really good because we don't put it in that context. We really don't. And yet today we are.
You got a mortgage, you got
That's
a
right.
car payment.
Exactly. And the thing that is really very hard to see is when you get young people who get their first good job out of college or something, go hog wild and you get best car, best house, whatever, and you get so deep in debt. And then the rest of your days, you're not only digging up from that, but from the student loan you had before you got there. You know? So, but this kind of indenture was a different kind too, is after a certain number of years, you were supposed to give freedom back to some of the.
So you worked off your debt.
Yeah, you worked off your debt. And
You're not supposed to take advantage of people who are working off your debt, just like you're not supposed to take advantage of people who are working for you.
And also, your credit card company,
They should take care of
they don't come by with a guy to rough you up at the door saying you missed your payment line. At least, not yet. So.
Mine don't. His does.
Yes, the
Why did-
family.
Oh, family credit cards.
Yes, I pay before my time. Yeah, so today we have, so at least, I mean, that's a very, very good point. But slavery was different. It was not the kind of slavery where you were a piece of property. It was not the kind of slavery that you had no rights, that you were treated and misused. That's kind of what we do. But hey, we're enslaved to credit cards and all kinds of debt if we're not careful.
Yeah.
So, very good point. What crimes are said that may have no punishment? Okay.
Whoever attacks a person and causes death must be put to death. So that's murder, not murder, which is something different. Right? You're killing in the act of war.
Right.
It's not murder.
Right.
This is a premeditated state.
If it was not premeditated, but an act of God, then I will reserve for you a place to which he can flee. If someone willingly kills another after deliberate planning, you are to take him even from my altar.
I think the courts of our land still hold that up today, don't they? They go in and try to prove intentionality for a pre-plan. Something just happened by mistake. It's like maybe defending yourself, or if you were attacked, you have to
It's a manslaughter charge or something.
Yeah. So, but if you planned it for 3 months and then you were not off your wife because you have a lot of time to road, I mean, that's intentional. And why is that? Why is that so harshly treated?
Because it's a heart, it's land, and
It's becoming God yourself.
it's not.
Excellent.
Oh yeah.
It's my wife.
She told you that one too?
She texts these to you?
Yeah, real time. Would you put that phone away? We want a real answer out of you. I mean, this is really good. We're getting to the heart of the issue.
I feel like it's starting to turn into an intervention. I'm starting to get.
Okay.
Honey, you're safe.
On the other hand.
And then.
Okay, but what we're stealing some things. What we're doing is we're really saying that I can be responsible for that action.
Yeah.
And we didn't create life. We don't have the right to take life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, life's in God's hands. So, and
That statement right there says it. I mean, you didn't create it. We make children now. It's by the hand of God that happens, and by the hand of God, He'll take us off this earth.
yeah, exactly. Children are a gift from the Lord, and we're just. I mean, all we do is have one action to kick it all off. But He's the one that puts a fantastic body that creates life. So what we do is when we put ourselves in a position where we're playing God, what are we violating? The first. Don't take any other path. What we're saying is we're making ourselves. Yeah. So, but see, that's the whole argument that's missed when you talk about capital punishment. Okay? Is that's the underlying issue. The man's come in and he's murdered his mom and his dad, get an inheritance or something, or just a robber comes in and takes him home and kills him. I mean, he's taking life. He's playing God in that life, and I mean, this is intentional. It's wrong. And setting himself up over God, and this is very, very, very harsh. There's two similar kind of things in the New Testament when Jesus is talking about how God reacts, and one of them is a lack of forgiveness. And the reason Jesus got so harsh about it in the New Testament because He gave His life to forgive us. And when we turn around and don't forgive our brother, we're kind of spitting in Jesus.
Right.
And that's the same kind of a thing right here. So the Old Testament was not something to be totally ignored. The rules and the logic that follows here follows straight through. It just exposed more of the heart of the issue as opposed to just simply taking your outward actions. You can get away with it because it's all in your head or in your heart. Not really tough.
You have to get out of here?
I do. I got a conference call at 7:15. Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
You're heading back in a day or so?
Monday night.
Monday.
Night.
Okay.
15. So we'll be chatting by phone
Okay.
and see how that goes.
Good trip back.
Thank
I
you.
may see you on Sunday,
Hopefully.
unless you're going down to Corpus.
Yeah, I said to Sheila, if the baby's not due and they're not inducing until Monday, I may have to just change my flight for a day. Just to be here. It would just be a shame to miss by a day.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see what happens. And we may go down on Sunday afternoon or something just to be there. Even if they're inducing on Monday, just to be there and then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Real good seeing you.
All right. See you.
Take care.
Take care, Crumble.
Blessings on you. Okay. And then, what is the legal punishment? What underlying
The application takes too much.
value is brought about with punishment? I think the first thing that I notice is that it should fit the crime.
Mm-hmm.
It should fit the issue. It's it should fit the situation. And secondly,
It's even though this adage it's too cut and dry. There's some. It's the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of thing.
yeah,
But it's not about that. It's about the relationship that you've taken, the crime that you've committed. So you're looking at it and saying, okay, yeah, am I going in God's place? It's not because so if someone accidentally hurts somebody, you don't want the accident to be the determining factor of what happens to the other person.
right.
Because with eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, that's what it would be. It's cut and dry.
In a sense, don't you think that some of it is also restitution? Like, if it's to a point where, you know, you stole one of your neighbor's sheep or killed his ox. Those were means by which they gained their livelihoods, right? And so restitution would be, hey, we give you back something to replace that. Right. Now, if it gets to the point where you're taking somebody's life, and she doesn't have to, then the restitution is almost like, hey, you did something that was really God. Now you kind of forfeited some of your rights. What's being said here is your actions, you should have thought about it ahead of time, but you forfeited your rights. And restitution can be very harsh. And it's pure justice, not mercy. That we
Right.
see in the New Testament. And pure justice is very harsh. But the first bit, I think, is to take responsibility and to replace the what was replace the wrong, if it's possible to do that. Obviously, killing something or somebody, you can't bring it back. So then the next one is restitution. How does being liable for restitution contribute to the protection of property? This is a really good one.
I mean, it's a slight deterrent because you know that if you get caught, you're gonna have to pay back anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Here's an example, and you may have had something similar to this. One of my kids broke a light in somebody's house. Playing, we were just joking around as all these guys, and so he told him that he had to repay. Maybe go back and replace that fixture in that bulb, and he was going to work for it, and he had to do something to earn some money to pay for it. And that was a restitution. And in the act of restitution, what happens? The restitution does one thing: is it satisfies the one who was wrong, right? Because it was replaced.
and the person that is doing the restitution, they're actually seeing what would have to happen to replace something like that,
Right.
to see its value.
Yeah. And then you see its value, and what kind of a deterrent do you think it is?
Well, if it's a lazy person, right there, I would have to work for it.
Well, you see, that's why I think, sometimes as wealthy society, wealthy parents who are living in the woods, and sometimes, don't worry about that. Johnny busted their window. They got plenty of money. They can replace it, or they've got insurance. They can replace it. You got deductible. Not to say that it's $1,000 deductible, and the glass will never get up to $1,000 for one window. But so what it doesn't do is it doesn't teach that son or child that the next time you do that, it may be big trouble. You may be doing it on a larger scale. Maybe you're now throwing baseballs through store with this and doing
Right.
who knows? It might escalate into something else. But if you realize that your actions have consequences, it'll make you stop and think next time when you do it. So there's.
Okay, I didn't break the windows.
You didn't
No.
say what your wife says.
Oh,
next.
you put your phone away. She knows everything about me. That's unfair.
But the first one that we talked about, it satisfies the wrong of the person, is a huge thing. Because if you don't have to be looking over your shoulder all the time, somebody's coming after you to beat you up or something just because they haven't forgiven you for something, huge deal. I mean, that creates fear, and that creates a lack of peace and a lack of solid culture, where there's a lack of forgiveness. So even though this was very legalistic back in the Old Testament, it still has the flavor and the concept of the restitution and the forgiveness of wrong that comes when Jesus paid the price for our guilt.
Absolutely.
When we get to the New Testament, it's not like, oh, this is a whole new set of values. No, it's not. It's just that the restitution was all taken by him, and not in society that we just still don't have to. I mean, even though we're in society today, this is the basis of our laws in North America. Based on God's word. If we can just keep our government from trying to change it because culture's changing, we're doing well. So, all right, the next one in these miscellaneous laws. What do you sense as God's prime concern? Okay, let's just take a look at 22:16. Let's see what he said here. 22:16.
Right there, social responsibility.
Who's pay the price? Okay, so it's talking about don't take advantage of a widow, don't mistreat an alien. Whoever sacrifices to any other god must be destroyed. So what is God's primary concern?
Focus away from him.
That's right. That we need to, or if we rephrase it, that we need to keep a focus on him.
Right.
So his primary concern is that if we don't keep that focus on him, what happens is we turn it on ourselves, and then everything goes haywire. So if we don't have a focus on him, then what happens is we get self-absorbed, and we think that we're going to solve all of our problems on our own. It never works out.
Doesn't come out good.
And we do exactly what Darwin did. We set man up as supposedly the destiny of its own, or the decision maker of its own destiny. As if even in Darwin's evolution, he had anything to do with creating himself. It has so many loopholes. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
So how does God's concern for justice and mercy stand out here? Through don't spread false reports, don't allow the crowd to do wrong, don't deny justice, don't accept a bribe, don't oppress an alien. So God's concern is that we don't take advantage of other people, but that we value other people in a relationship, we value them as a person.
Right. We don't have a collective mob rule.
Right?
Use God's rule. Because he knows that the mob mentality is really a very bad thing. Because you're thinking that big one mind that doesn't work.
You know, and that's been very prevalent in our U.S. history. I mean, you can say a mob rule in centuries ago, kings would get armies together and they would create their own mob, right? They'd go out and they'd fight somebody else. What was their own mob that they created? In today's modern society, you can think about well, the mafia, you know, the mob, and you know what it
Middle
is in
school.
Chicago, middle school,
Middle
mob.
school, middle school.
Yeah, you just get kids together and
Well, yeah,
create their own
man.
mob.
And you got to get them out of that mindset. Okay, I hear what you're going through, and you know, this is the cool thing to do, but guys. You see it, you're not in your own mind.
Yeah.
You're that hallway mind. Let's run amok mind.
And today, one thing that's really bad, I've seen a couple of situations where a girl was accused of things on the internet and through texting and so on, and it spread through the school, and she was absolutely devastated because either she was exposed as having an affair with this kid, or it was put out there in front of everybody in the school, and she was belittled, and everybody talked bad about her, and it was all because she didn't get in the cheerleader squad or something like that.
Of course, cyberbullying.
Yeah, cyberbullying. I mean, that's a huge thing, potential thing that can happen. I mean, take a look at what's happening in the NFL. This guy right now.
Yeah.
I heard some talk that this guy who literally knocked his wife out in the elevator and drags her out by hair.
They had that one of the classes was discussing that, and the guy was going, "Well, I would let him back in the NFL." I said, "Okay, let's not take it as a completely business standpoint. You know, despite that is entirely wrong what he did." Okay, so NFL hires this guy back and says, "Oh, it really doesn't matter what he does." Okay, that's a huge PR thing. So if you're running this big business called the NFL, and you bring this guy in who's just is seen as a bruiser, which is kind of obvious. The video's out there.
Yeah.
Now, that you need to just have to take care of the NFL's job to fix that situation.
Yeah, see, that's where it went wrong. Is that they didn't use the laws of the land. They should have said if he did something wrong, that they should have taken it to the laws of the land and let justice take its course within the true justice system. Instead, they set themselves up as the law, and now they're paying the price for that. And that's exactly what God says here. Don't do that. Don't set yourself up. Because I'm God, you're not.
Right.
And these laws are there to protect you. So if you follow them, they will protect you. In this particular case, the NFL has said, hey, we don't allowing the laws of the land to deal with it. He would have gone to court. And I heard a guy on the radio called him on a talk show yesterday. He basically said, if he'd gone to court, it would have been the first time they would have basically thrown it out with or something, and the guy would still be playing this Thursday. Instead, the social media has now become a platform for what you can. It's kind of a social court. Try and convict and prosecute. So this guy will never play in the NFL again. And the social media has done that. I don't agree with what he did. I don't agree that the social media should take on in terms of setting themselves up. And see, that's the problem. Is that what's our God on Sunday?
Yeah.
Football, right?
Why not me?
Yeah. So football on Sunday. Yeah. So what?
I'm a geek.
You're a geek.
I watch
So you
football.
don't watch football.
Look at that condemning eye, because that's just the way I roll.
That's the way you roll. So you're geeking out on your computer. And
That's what I do. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I don't usually. Sunday, I might be taking a nap.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. So you named your bed the Word, and you're in the Word.
Amen, brother.
That's how you get more time in the Word.
Oh
Right?
man, I'm telling you.
All right. Well, listen. How would you explain your social responsibility based on the principles here? All of these principles, really, we need to still live by. Right? They're all strong values. and making sure that we focus on God is God and we're not.
And it's all based on, I mean, all of this is translation. That was the technology at the time. That was that was what commerce looked like. That's the goal. So we have to go and translate it to this time and place. But it's still very relevant.
Yeah, very relevant. And we still have we still have a responsibility. We still have a responsibility for restitution. We have a responsibility for making sure that anything that we have done is forgiven and restored with other people. Make things right. That's what we need to do, you know. And there was a woman I just heard last week who took her daughter and son back to the scene of an accident because they had gone through a median, either hurt or killed somebody, and they fled the scene of the accident. Her mom took them back to the scene of the accident. That's a mom who needs some praise. She knew that she's taken her daughter and her boyfriend back to the scene. And that's a mom that's a tough thing to do because she knows that there's going to be some punishment there for what they're going to do, but they got to face up to what their actions were and need to learn from that.
Right. Or they're going to have to live with that. Investors, it turns into a toxic.
Yeah. And you and I can kind of look back on some things that our kids have done in terms of growing up, and those are learning moments, teaching moments in our kids' lives. And if you don't deal with them then, they can just escalate out of proportion as they get older, and they think they can get away with it instead of feeling like they've conned the system and they're good. Next time they won't. I mean, the feeling can kind of go on and so we have a responsibility to uphold these values in our laws and to speak out support for our laws and uphold them. And a whole different subject is when our country's leadership asks us to do something that is wrong or contrary to God's law. And then that's a different subject, a different matter. But right now, we don't have that. We have good laws, and generally speaking, and certainly the principles of restitution. I mean, those work in everyday life. It's not necessarily going to the laws. It's not that you have to be caught up in the legal system or have a lawyer to do some of these things. We can do that ourselves, and we need to. So if we're not doing this, who are we really hurting? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing that we miss all the time, right? I mean, this isn't rocket science. If we don't do it, we're not part of wanting to keep God's law. We're only hurting ourselves.
Right. It's not about keeping the law, it's hurting ourselves.
Yeah. So that gets to the bottom line of all this. These weren't put together to hurt these people. They were put together to protect them. Great. Yep. Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Let's close. Do you want to close?
Yeah, you got it. Heavenly Father, thank you today for giving us Exodus and all the learning the reason why we are trusting in your word, trusting in your law. It's still relevant today as it's ever been. I pray that you give us guidance, for all the people in our lives and all the struggles. Just give us just a glimmer of light where we need to go and focus, which is that light of you. We just need to work on our proper perspective of law. And just know that you are here to build us up, and we ask this in Jesus' name.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Yeah. God bless you. Have a good day.